Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, salute and respect to all my classy people out there. Welcome to another edition of DBDS Live. I'm your host, your facilitator, your boy Mel Money, and my special co-host, my DBDS sister Gianni. What's going on, my sister? What's going on?
Hello, world. How are you guys? I am doing very well and blessed today. Thank you, Jesus. How are you, Mel?
Woo, hallelujah. I'm feeling great. And, because spring is here. Gianni, spring is here. And I feel like this is the season. This season represents new beginnings, new goals. And as always, as you mentioned, Gianni, looking inward to become a better version of yourself. So a big shout out to my people who are taking the time to self-reflect. And a special shout out to my people who reach out to DBDS for some guidance. And listen, if you want more gems about DBDS, make sure you cop the book. It's available right now. Dear brothers, dear sisters, listen up. A knowledge guide that contains advice on how to get your life in check and get the relationship you desire. So make sure you get that book,
Absolutely, guys. Go ahead and get it. It's a good book.
Thank you. So, which this particular show is a segue that we're going to be discussing. Show desire, not desperation. What you think about this topic, Gianni?
I love that topic, Mel. I feel like a lot of the topics that we have are really great topics. You know what I mean? I feel like there's really honestly no bad topic because any situation, I feel like people just need to learn. Just pick up and learn. It doesn't matter what the situation is. So it's a great topic. It's always a great topic.
You know how we get down. And you're absolutely right. I mean, this show today, we're going to talk about, thirsty behavior compared to interested behavior, which are two completely different formats, whether you're pursuing someone or, whether you're being approached. How do you carry yourself? How do you receive that message for someone that likes you? Now, before we pivot to our show, Gianni, please tell the people where they can find your amazing work. And if there's anything else you want to share before we start dropping some fire gems.
Thank you, Mel. So I am very, very grateful. And I am, yes, a new addition to DBDS, Dear Brothers, Dear Sister. And I'm so grateful and so honored to be one of his co-hosts. And I would like to say my name is Gianni Bansfield. I am originally from Massachusetts. I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for the last 10 plus years. I am also a network marketer. So if you guys are interested about monetizing and learning and understanding modern franchising, let me know. You can find me at True Omni Beauty on Instagram, or you can find me at Facebook on Gianni Bansfield. Okay, guys. So thank you very much. And I'm so ready to get this show started.
Absolutely. Special shout out to Nicole, my brand ambassador, Jess, Mo, all the DBDS family. Also, make sure you subscribe to our DBDS Live channel on YouTube. And for our podcast, just simply go to podbean.com and type in DBDS Live LLC. And you'll be able to listen to these amazing discussions that me and Gianni and the rest of the core crew bring to the forefront. So listen, we're not going to keep you any longer. We're going to bring in our amazing guests. And the first one coming into the DBDS Live studio, she was here before. Fabulous woman, great personality. My sister, author, Janae. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, baby? What's up, DBDS? Hello.
Hey, girl.
Hi, girl. Hey.
I love it. Yes, I love the energy.
So we have some new viewers. Welcome back, by the way. Tell the viewers where you're from. Yes.
Well, I live in the Atlanta area. You know what I'm saying? Out here in the suburbs, I'm still country, so we can't go all the way in the inner city. It's too much. Too many ambulances. I need to sleep at night. Anywho, I am best-selling author Janae. I wrote 4 books in the year of 2020. What Death Do We Part 1 and 2, and Living Life After Death Part 1 and 2. And I started my authorship after my 9-year-old niece committed suicide due to racial bullying in school in 2018, December the 3rd to be exact. And I started the Mackenzie Foundation, where actually yesterday I went to Statesboro, Georgia, speaking about bullying. I've been all the way up to Kalamazoo, Michigan, all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona, and everywhere in between, churches, community, private home, private sessions just like this. Since we've been in the virtual world, people are still being bullied, not only kids, but adults as well, because the people that are doing the bullying have the most problems, and they don't heal from their inner child issues that they take into adulthood. So that is me. I am Author Janae. You can get all of my books at my website, authorjanae.com. Hey.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. It's such an honor for you to be back on the show. And the love is amazing. Absolutely. And the next one coming into the DBDS Live studio. Man, she's knowledgeable. She got wisdom. Welcome, my sister Lycia, to the DBDS Live studio.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for allowing me to be on your broadcast today. Really appreciate it.
The pleasure is all ours. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
All right. So I am from Springfield, Massachusetts, home of the Basketball Hall of Fame, for anybody that knows. Okay. I work as a social worker for the state of Massachusetts. So, I've been doing a lot of different things. I've did therapy before, but now I'm really more into like the child protective stuff. So, just going through and seeing where my career path takes me. I'm on here today just to be able to experience something different. You know what I mean? Shout out to Gianni, you know what I'm saying? My best friend who allowed me to be on the show today, and everybody else. So, you know what I mean? Thank you. This is just something good, something different for me, so thank you so much to the DBDS family.
That's right. Dope brothers, dope sisters, DBDS.
Hey,
thank you
talk
so
about
much.
it.
So,
hey.
So listen, thank you all for tuning in to the audience watching. I see you, Felicia. I see you, Vanessa, Jasmine. I see all of y'all. So thank you for joining, because this topic is critical and it must be talked about, because some people, when they become so emotionally attached to someone, sometimes they project their ideal image on that particular person, thinking that they should feel the same way about them. And this alone can set up some emotional blinders, to which you may come across as a desperate individual looking for a relationship. So if that's your format, then we're here to help change your focal point so you can show desire, so you can get a better outcome. But before we get deep with this topic, we have a DBDS Anonymous section where people post their thoughts, their issues, and look for some guidance. So I'm going to have my sister Gianni read a letter. Take it away, Gianni.
All right, guys. So the letter goes as my wife. All right. So it says my wife has. Me and my wife has separated for the last 10 days. She said the main reason she left is because she feels I deserve someone who will treat me better. Other than the few days of me being, we've had great conversation. I cry every night thinking about her, and I feel incomplete without her. We talked 30 minutes for the last 3 days. But we've always talked as really good friends, and that is how we are now. There is still some distance, and she accidentally said, "I love you," when hanging up, and followed it with a text message telling me, "Don't get your hopes up." We've talked for 2 days since then. We've laughed and shared stories, but she always drops in something to remind me that she is establishing herself. She moved with her grandmother about 3 hours away. I want to be with her because she's my soulmate. And if I'm so nice, why did she dump me? Why marry me to begin with? Why spend a tremendous amount of money and wedding and leave me 5 months later? I appeared at her job a few times with flowers, monies, diamonds, bracelets, apology cards. And of course, she accepted them, but she said she is no longer attracted to me, and even warned me if in the past that she may get a restraining order. But that that is the past. I still know she has feelings for me. What can I do to get us back together?
Whew. Okay, DBDS brother. Well, first off, thank you so much for your letter, because it does take courage. But listen, don't worry. We have some experienced people with great wisdom that can help you in your situation. So first, I am going to come to my sister Lycia. What advice you have for this brother? How can we help him?
First of all, again, thank you so much for, sharing that letter for us. Hopefully we can be able to help, but first of all, just know that you are a blessed individual, and, don't feel like you have to lower yourself for any situation that may be presented to you. I think my concern is the whole Corey thing. So, like I said, I work for the state, and I deal with people's Corys all the time. Like Corys follow you. So if someone that say they love you and they're supposed to be your soulmate, ain't nobody gonna take a restraining order out on you for nothing. They're gonna take the time to sit, talk about it, talk about kind of where we were in the beginning, how we got to this point, and then how we can have a better outcome and figure out what's going to happen. But do not allow yourself to lose yourself. Don't lose your character. Don't lose who you are as a person, and then legally get caught up in a situation that you can never get out of. Because a Corey going to be with you. Whatever new job you're going to get, they're going to question you and ask you, oh, sir, what's up with your Corey? And you have to explain that. And it'll be the dumbest thing, but that's something that can get you caught up all the time. So sit back and think about, like, do I really want this in my life? If I don't have no legal charges or anything legal against me, do I want this hanging over my head? Because like a soulmate ain't never going to put you through anything like this. Never.
Oh, very, very well said. And brother, you're watching. Sometimes you have to charge it to the game. Sometimes you have to look within and think about the role you played in that relationship. So I'm coming to my sister, Janae. How can we help this brother? What advice you have for him?
Well, I'm going to take a different standpoint, and I'm going to talk to you like you my son, because I have a son. He's not able to get married right now legally. So it's a few things I wrote down from just listening to the letter. Treat him better. She loves you. Don't get your hopes up, and she feels entitled. So I'm going to start off by saying she never wanted you. You were a safe choice for her. You were a safe choice. She likes you. She always liked you. You are a good person. However, she does not love you like that. You love her in a romantic, where you wanted to get married way. She didn't. She never did. And if you guys had gone to marriage counseling, you would have found that out, because you go together and you go separately. And when it comes to that word, she says she's not attracted to you. When you bring her the gifts and stuff, wasting your time. She was never attracted to you. Do you remember her ever saying, why won't you groom yourself like this? You should wear this. Hey, try this outfit on. She's been trying to change you from the jump. So whatever it is, she has never been attracted to you. That's why you've always been good friends. It wasn't a love thing. Yeah, y'all probably, did stuff. However, that did not make her a wife for you. She was never your wife. So son, I'm telling you, let it go. Now, how do you move on from this? From a mother standpoint, that I would tell my son, or I would tell my cousin, or I would tell my brother, I would tell you, pick yourself up, take that money you're spending on her, go put it in a stock and name it my ex-wife stuff. Okay. Make you some money off that money you're wasting. You might as well make it. If you're a man about money and finance and business, you understand, go make your money. Number two, dress yourself up. Go take you some professional photos, get on the site, and move on with your life. The next thing, go out with your family and friends, have yourself a good time. And on tomorrow morning, Monday, get that divorce or annulment or whatever it's called, because it's over, my love. It is over. And you have to move on. That's what I got to tell you.
Woo! I normally don't do this in this segment, but whoa.
Oh, talk about it.
Listen, brother, you watching the show, leave with your pride, leave with your integrity and your dignity, okay? I'm coming to my sister, Gianni. What advice you have for this brother? How can we help him,
Okay, I have to pause this real quick. That facts, I love it.
Oh,
That was a good
I
one.
love it.
like TMZ, right?
Yo, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It was on point. On point. Okay, so I would say from my standpoint, how I look at it, and there's so many different scenarios you can go about it and how you could go about the situation. But where I'm confused, because there are always two sides of the story, I'm confused at why are you giving her apology cards?
Mm.
What did you do to have to feel that you have to give her apology cards? That's where I'm confused at, because at the end of the day, and I tell everybody this, I tell my husband this, I'm a woman first. I'm a woman first. So I want to give you some advice, but it just threw me off with the apology card, because if you did something and her reacting the way she's reacting, if you went out and stepped out and it's only been 5 months since your marriage, then I feel that she has every right to be doing what she's doing right now. And she's probably really deep down inside hurt because of what you did to her. So maybe that's why she did move away. Maybe that's why she's telling you that you're not attracted to her no more, because she feels so hurt inside, like she's sick to her stomach, and probably like, what did you do? Like we created something and you destroyed it. That's where I'm just a little connected, because if you would have never said that you gave her an apology card, then I would have been leaning more towards, the other ladies and saying, hey, leave it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the apology card is where I'm a little stuck. So my advice is, one, it starts with communication. Communication is very big. Admitting to something. If you were wrong, admit to the fact that you were wrong. And that in itself is big for people. So, some people could really be like, wow, they admitted. So let me actually take them back. It's showing vulnerability, and it's actually a power in a certain sense. Like, you may not think it's a power, but it is a power. So I would just say, speak about it, have that conversation. If you did do something wrong, if you didn't do nothing wrong, and you good, and you set, then it's done and over with. Like the other lady said, it's done and over with. You might as well fill out the paperwork on Monday and keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Keep it pushing, because it is like Ejane said, where she probably never really liked you. You probably were always a friend. It was probably a phase. It's just something she wanted. And she probably was living off of social media, that whole social media lifestyle. So that's probably what she wanted. I don't know. But like I said, I was a little thrown off with the letter of the apology card or whatever. But that's my advice to you. So Mel, I'm going to let you take that over.
Okay. Now, listen, before I put my little 2 cents in, we have some comments already. My sister Lisa, let's see what she states. Can you see that, G?
It says, everyone can see and hear you. Oh, no, sorry. It says facts.
Oh. Okay, appreciate that. Shout out to my girl Lisa. Next comment from Lisa again.
It says she wanted the wedding and the party, the glamorous life, and now it's over. Yeah,
man. Just like wedding crashes,
Absolutely.
like the movie is over, And from our DBDS brand ambassador Nicole.
Hey Nicole, hey, facts.
And she loves the facts. And thank you for this the sound effect, Nicole. Appreciate it.
Oh, she did that. Awesome.
Yes. She's so talented. So I'm just going to take your letter at full steam ahead. I mean, I am aware of some situations that some brothers feel like they have to, just put themselves out there in such a passive way by apologizing and doing all this cupcake, format just to try to win that woman back into their life. But we're going to go ahead and just change your focal point. And I think like you need to reevaluate yourself. Just change your focal point, I meant to say. And I believe when this happens, it kind of like, you make your significant other your purpose, because when that person is your sole source of happiness, then you truly don't have an identity within your relationship. And I think this is what's happening. So if your significant other no longer wants to be with you, then the desired outcome will be, I would say, a depressed state of mind, or you're no longer happy, or you become bitter, claiming that everyone else is the same like your ex. I think you made a poor selection when it comes to looking to someone that's probably may have been more compatible with you. Now, brother, this is why I always tell my brothers out there, you got to have a higher purpose, more important than your relationship. And she shouldn't only be your only source of happiness. She will of course, definitely be a priority in your relationship. But the right woman usually motivates you to stay on your purpose in life. You know, if you would have had a woman such as that, and in this degree, when you have that confidence within you, you can be happy with or without that woman. It'll still hurt. You'll still be pain. There'll still be pain that you have to go through, but it won't be in the case as pain as begging and pleading and apology cards, as the letter stated. Instead, you will visualize pain as a friend to reevaluate your role within your relationship and begin to work on yourself, so that way you can become confident and pursue someone that is more compatible with you. So, once again, thank you for your letter. And one last thing I just want to state, this stalkish behavior that you're doing, it need to stop, because all you're doing is chipping at your ego, and you may get a restraining order. So please, brother, just stop. Okay. So again, thank you for your letter. We greatly appreciate it. Now we're going to go ahead and continue with the show. All right. So the first topic that we're going to discuss, based on, hey, show desire, but not desperation, is being clingy. Something that you're doing, brother, being clingy. So we're going to go ahead and size this up right here. So my thing is that having space is actually a good thing, because that gives the person the opportunity to miss you. And I feel like it also shows that you have a life beyond your relationship, because whatever purpose you have in life will provide a stronger foundation for you and your significant other. So I'm coming to my sister Eddwina. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, let's see. Being clingy. That's like, when I think of being clingy, I think of a little girl hanging around her dad's leg, like, and he trying to shake her off, like, get off my leg, get off my leg. As an adult, you ain't trying to have no fool adult holding on to you like that, okay? So being clingy can be, honestly, a mental state of mind, because you are so afraid of being alone that you just cling to the person and you lose yourself in someone else, and you can't do that. You have to have friends or even family, or have a hobby that can put you outside of being with that person 24/7, because that's not life. In real life, you cannot be with a person 24. It's just not possible. And if you think that, you really do need to go see Lycia, because they need to mentally evaluate you, because that is not life. It's not real life. Let's live. I know we in a virtual world and everything, Mel, but real life, you can't do it. So find you something fun to do, even if it's just, planting a garden. Do something, recreational that'll get your mind off that individual. And even if you got to think about them, plant a tree for them. It's cool. But just don't be around them like that. Give that space to be missed, and don't be too clingy. You might need to go get a straight jacket. Don't do that. All right.
I always tell people true love in a relationship, when it gets to that point, is freedom.
Yes.
It's not being clingy. I'm coming to my sister Lycia. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I definitely agree when it comes to being clingy. It definitely can be a lot. And like I said, the whole space thing, I agree. Like, in every relationship, people need space, even if it's, hey, you go to work this time and then you go to work that time. At least when we come back, we're able to miss each other, because if you with somebody every day, 24/7, you're not missing them. And then people fail to understand, when you don't have the opportunity to miss somebody, what happens? That creates arguments. That creates, you know what I'm saying, where you really look and you be like, do I really like this person? You know what I mean? And are they really the one for me? Because they're so up under me. They're making me feel like I can't do nothing. Then you have the whole insecurity thing that pops off. You know what I mean? And then when you become clingy, they may be like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my boys, or I'm going to hang out with my girl. And what's going to happen? Oh no, well, can I come too? Or they may feel some type of way because you're going out with that person. And what does that happen again? It causes an argument. You know what I mean? And then the one thing about being clingy, people want to talk about, sometimes when you're doing too much, and that person may have another person who's not being clingy, and able to listen to them and hear them out and know their position, what happens? Somebody cheat. Because what? Because the other person is doing too much, because they feel like you're doing too much, But the other thing too is that in relationships, people don't communicate. And that's where you have issues. You know what I'm saying? You're not communicating. You're not expressing why. Because sometimes we get afraid to say, oh, you're too clingy because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Nah, bump that. Hurt their feelings. Like, listen, brother, listen, sister, you doing way too much right now. I need my space. I need you. And it's okay to say that. Like, it is okay. Because if I truly love you and I truly want to be with you, it's okay for you to, when you tell me you need space, that I should be able to give that to you, because I want our relationship to work. I want us to be married. I want us to be satisfied. I want us to be able to have a committed relationship. You know what I mean? And don't have to worry about nothing. But if you all up under me and I feel like I ain't got my space, then you make it that what we call what? Turned off. You know what I mean? And then when you get turned off, what happens? The relationship ends. It ends.
You know, I said this story one time in the past. It was, this brother was so clingy that every time the woman, his girlfriend went to the store to CVS, he always told her to get a receipt. Any store, get a receipt, you know? And I just think clingy to me is equivalent to being suffocated in a relationship. You're not free, right? I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I'm just blown away by what you just said. That to me is not clingy. That to me is being controlling. You want a receipt, so you just want a receipt to know if I went to the CVS, and you probably want to check the time that I was at the CVS, because there's crazy people that do that, and that's not a way to live. I'm here to tell you that. Clingy. All right. So when it comes to clingy, I used to be clingy. Okay, but when it comes to clingy, like the other lady say, it is a turn off. I don't know. I think I'm not going to, I feel like it goes for men and women. And I say this because it all depends on where you're at in life. And like Ejanae said, it's all a mindset. It is a mindset. So I feel like when someone is clingy, it's because they lack self-love. They lack self-growth. They lack that. And I can say that because I've been there. I've lived there. Like I, lost my mother at an early age. So I lost that guidance. I lost that love. I lost all of that I was looking for for a long period of time. I always said, I want to find somebody that loves me like my mom. I want to find somebody that loves me like my mom. And I didn't have someone to tell me, like, no, it's not you finding someone that loves you like your mom. No, it's finding yourself. So I'm here to tell you, you got to find yourself. And once you find yourself, you won't be clingy. You have that confidence build up in you, where you feel like you don't need to be clingy and you don't need to have someone around you 24/7. And it's good, like Alicia said, to have that separation where, you do your own thing, I do my own thing, and we don't got to argue because I want to step out and have a drink with my girlfriends for a second. And you don't have to come behind me and feel like a tail, because other people see that too. And you don't want to be that girlfriend or boyfriend and be like, they're a tail. Can you do something? Can you do something without this guy behind you? Like, Dad, can we have girls' night? There's no other men around here. He's the only guy. Things like that. And men have to, it's called awareness. It's called self-awareness. So when you need to, it's okay to talk to yourself, and it's okay to be aware. It's being aware of the actions and the things that are taking place. So when you see yourself being clingy, cut it out. Pour into yourself. So there you go, Mel.
Man, I'm always going to use that effect right there. Being clingy, I believe the attraction for me will begin to lose its flair when you're clingy or you're so desperate for your significant other's attention, because I feel like the reality is you become too predictable. And when you're too clingy, that can also translate or come across as a person who doesn't have drive, goals, or ambition. I mean, how could you if you're constantly craving someone's attention to the point that you no longer focus on yourself? And I feel like you may end up like the brother in the letter who prefers someone to complete him, where I believe you should already be whole and looking to share your completeness with someone. And I feel like this is why I believe self-love, as Gianni mentioned, is the most important component, because it shows that you desire yourself from within, which means you don't need constant validation from someone to increase your self-esteem or self-worth. And that within itself is extremely attractive. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pivot to our next subtopic. And the next topic that we're going to touch on is, and this is critically important, constantly calling and texting someone with little reciprocation. Look at, she's like, where he's at? Come on. So let me go ahead and size this up right here. So when someone say they'll call you back, my advice to people, let them call you back. Be mysterious. Show that person you have a life. Don't constantly blow up their phone just to get some sort of reaction from them. Don't text them every 5 minutes based on why you haven't heard from them. Don't be sending these long essay paragraphs to try to get their attention. Just don't do it. Okay. So I'm coming to my sister, Janae. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Let's go back to clinging. Why you calling these folks all the time? Like, stop. You look like you crazy. Go cook. Go clean some. Go shopping. Go to the track. I don't know. Just stop calling people. It will do just like the clinging part. It'll push people away because they're like, oh my God, you calling again. What do you want? Just to say nothing. It's no way you can talk on the phone for 6 hours. I mean, every day. Seriously? Just listen. Chill out. Yeah, just chill. Just take a breath and just enjoy yourself. Enjoy your peaceful time, your downtime, and just chill. Just really chill. Don't do the calling and texting. And if you do text something that's nice. So if it's a man, text something, oh, I saw these flowers and I thought that was cute. Once. Don't do it every 30 seconds. Don't do that. That's doing too much. If you're going to text, say something cute. If you're going to call, say something cute. You ain't got to follow up behind a person, because in that case, now we're talking about a trust issue. And if you have trust issues, then just let it go all together, because you're going to be in a wretched relationship, and nobody in 2021 got time for that. It's just time to live and enjoy and be at peace. And if that person don't bring you peace, you got to call, text, and cling to somebody. Y'all have trust issues either with you, with him, or the whole relationship. Then let it go. Just don't do it.
Man, I usually call that the illusion of action. When somebody don't hear from someone, they think they have to do something to try to win them over when they don't have to do it. So coming to my sister, Lycia, what are your thoughts on this topic?
I definitely agree. When you're constantly calling and you're constantly texting somebody, especially if you're in like a new relationship, what is that going to show the person? It's going to show, number one, that you're clingy, and number two, it's going to show that you're controlling. You know what I mean? And like, who wants to be able to deal with somebody who is controlling? Or like, as if we're just meeting, you don't know me to be calling me this much. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's cute. You know what I mean? You want to know what you're doing. The good morning texts, have a good day at work. But like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, space it out. You know what I mean? If you know it's 9 o'clock in the morning and he or she's at work until 5, you may say good morning at 9, do a little afternoon text. How you doing? How your day going? Just checking to see, making sure you good. You know what I'm saying? Making sure you eating, and then when 5 o'clock hit, let he or she call and say, hey, I'm out of work. I'm about to get myself together and go home, and then I'll call you. You know what I mean? So those, I feel like, are the perfect time to be able to call somebody. If you call me, if you text me at 9, don't call me again at 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. And then honestly, choose one. You're either going to call or you are going to text. You know what I mean? Honestly, me as a female, I prefer you to call me, because in text, think about it, the language is different. You know what I mean? Like, you could be saying something that's so chill, but I could read it as, okay, he bugging. And then what? I need you to call me and explain it to me what you're saying. You know what I mean? And that's how, too, arguments start. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you text, you cannot get anything out in a text message. I don't have time to read no paragraphs, especially if I'm driving, because nowadays you can't text and drive. You know what I mean? So I need you to be able to call me. But you definitely have to choose one. Choose the times. If you trust me and you believe me, then you should know that you don't have to constantly call me and constantly text me all the time. Like, being able to build trust in a relationship. And I feel like we all lose that. Again, it's about communication. If you have strong communication, and that means you don't have to call me and text me 24/7. You know what I'm doing. Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, I'm working, or 3 to 11, or whatever the times you're doing, you know exactly what I'm doing. So, you know what I mean? Like, after that, you just let it go. let it go. That's when restraining orders come in because you're doing too much. That's when, you know what I mean, you lose your relationship because you're doing too much. And sometimes too, like, that creates a toxic pattern. And guess what? We don't need no toxic stuff going on because we already dealing with the pandemic and everything else. And I don't need all that other stress.
Man. Oh man, very well said. Just you hear first from the sisters, brothers, call. It shows that you're more confident. Not only that, they can hear your tone, they can feel your emotional energy. Call. That texting thing, man. I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this topic?
So I agree. I totally agree. I was gonna definitely take the approach Lycia took. So to piggyback off of what she said, it's you. I say this all the time. I'm not a text message person. I do not text when it's something important. It's cool to say, "Hey, how you doing?" real quick. But my thing is also too, and I just want to give some pointers when it comes to texting. When you say hey and wait for the person to respond. Don't say hey and then send a whole paragraph right underneath. It's just like, wait for me to respond. And especially too, that's another mechanism where you can sit here and say, you don't want to say hey and then respond. And then the person sees it and then never responds because they're like, they didn't even give me a chance to say hey back. A lot of people don't like that. So if you give a person a chance to say hey, at least you know that they're there on the other line. And then you can then write your message and then expect the message right in return and back in return. And like Alicia said, somebody could say something in a text message and it can be taken so wrong. And I tell people that all the time. People portray things so many different ways. I could say no, and someone can say, literally take that no as a strong no. And it's just like, I didn't even mean it like that. You're taking it like that. I didn't mean it like that, you know? And I feel like a lot of people forget that. So that's why men, listen, if you really like her, a call in the morning's cool. And I would say like make it a little more interesting too. You don't want a girl wants to feel like, I'm gonna be honest, a girl wants a man that she gotta feel like she kind of got to chase him. Not too much, but she gotta chase him. She like, dang, like he had text me this morning. He texted me yesterday morning, but he didn't text me this morning. So it makes her want to text him back, you know, and want him. So that's just my little advice when it comes to calling and texting. Just don't overdo it. Just like, you know, here and there, you always want that other person guessing and trying to figure it out. You know, make it curious. It's curiosity. So that's all I have to say.
Whew. I mean, I like how you just broke that down, Gianni, because when a brother dials back, I mean, he shows he's interested, but he dials back, it kind of gives that mysterious flair, right? Instead of someone just, I'm using this as an extreme example, just like everything on the line, my social security number, this, that, and just, you know, just dial back, you know, and women find that attractive. They're like, okay, you know.
Real quick. And right when you said that, I feel like when a man does that from the jump, it shows vulnerability in a man. And I feel like depending on the woman, for me, I particularly don't like that in a man. Like, don't lay it all out because it's just kind of showing me that you're not a man in my eyes. It's showing me that you kind of want me like, oh, here goes all my paperwork. Here goes my documents. Here goes my, you know, my doctor bills, all of that. Take care of that. Okay. You know, I'm gonna give that all to you. That's what it just shows me is, you know, things like that.
Hey, brothers, my brothers, you watching this, make sure you taking some notes. So my thing is usually when certain people allow their emotions to override their logic, it creates these, I'll say, emotional blinders to call and text someone you're attracted to in a stalkish manner with little to no reciprocation. And I feel like, you know, this is why it's very important on how you start a relationship, because usually this is how your relationship may be. And I believe the reason why some people display this sort of behavior is because they feel that they must take action to keep the level of attraction high, whereas it's really doing the opposite and it's making the attraction level low when you do this sort of behavior. And it creates that illusion of action to text or call without any equal effort just to fish for a compliment. So my thing is, all you're doing is projecting your insecurities, because non-verbally you're curious on how that person feel about you. But if you have options and you have other passionate things you like to do on the side, I feel like it makes you more self-reliant, in which you'll become more invested within yourself, which is highly attractive, and it's going to pull her in, you know? So with this mindset, it's only going to show you that you're a person of value when you come from within, but it also displays that you have a life in which you don't need to text these long paragraphs or call on a consistent basis just to get someone's attention. Okay. So before we go into our break, we have a couple of comments here. We'll go to this one first from a viewer.
What you accept is what you will keep accepting. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is so true. So we're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break. Sit tight. This is DBDS Live. We'll be back in just a minute.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSSingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at DBDSSingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
Yes, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my sister Lycia, my sister Eddwina, and my DBDS sister Gianni. And listen, we've been dropping gems. And that commercial you just seen, please, if you're single, looking for a healthy relationship, make sure you join DBDSSingles.com, so that way you can find that special someone. Okay. But before we get started to our next topic, I'm going to give a quick shout out to some of the people watching our show. Shout out to Kelly, my sister More Crystal, Natasha, my brother Tim Peoples, Shamika, Tanya, my wife April. I love you, baby. Thank you for watching. All right. Akila, my sister Essence, my brother Richard Moore, my sister Jasmine, Vanessa, Felicia, Jeff, Camille, Nadia, Brandy, Anthony, Marquita, my brother Gotham from across seas in India. Bangalore, India. Thank you. Thank you all. The love has been truly amazing. So we're going to go ahead and continue to our next topic on the show. And the next topic that we're going to touch on is giving up your giving up your loved ones for a person you barely know. I mean, this brother is like, man, I'll give up my hobbies, my dreams, anything to be with you, baby. So let me go ahead and size this up here. So my thing is that when you begin to disregard your loved ones, dial back your aspirations, or get distracted from your purpose in life based on someone you're attracted to and you barely know, I think it puts you at a disadvantage when it comes to relationships. And this sort of behavior opens up the lane for an abuser to come into the picture, or a narcissist to come into the picture, like Derek Jackson. And this is why it's so important to take your time and continue to embrace that strong support system, so that way the right person will accept those things that come along with you. So I'm coming to my sister Lycia. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
First, I would say to everybody, never, 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 ever, ever do that. You know, like I can just say, just from like friends in the past that have done that have pushed people away. You know, when something goes wrong, you know, like I deal with women who deal with domestic violence all day, every day. And when you push somebody away, and then when you finally need that person may not be there in the way that you want them to be there. You know what I mean? Like if they was there before, talking to you every day, y'all was chilling every day. But when a person sees that you have taken somebody who you don't know, and you're just meeting them, your friends ain't gonna be there no more. They're not. Like after a while, they're gonna be like, I'm over this, I'm done, and you chose that person. I don't want to deal with this no more. I don't want you no more. And you lose your friends. Like, you lose people like that. And at the end of the day, like, you need your friends. Like, you need to be able to ask questions. You need to be able to get, like, what should I do? Like, how am I doing? And like you said, it leads abusive people to come into your life. Goes back to the whole controlling, goes back to the whole clingy thing. You know what I mean? Like, when we have that, that's because what you feel, you need love. So I feel like people do that because they want love, because they probably have something in their childhood where they're searching for, where they lost. So now they find, okay, like, they remind me of my father. So what happens? You get close because you need that love, and you want that love, and you want that person. So you push everybody else because you feel like, oh, I gotta have my tunnel vision. It's just him. I gotta be able to cook. I gotta be able to clean. I gotta be able to wash clothes. I gotta be able to make sure he all good and everything. And no, like, that's not life. You need somebody from the outside to observe, to be able to see, like, hey, like, I feel like he's doing too much. I feel like he's a little too controlling, and I need you to step back so you can be able to see it too. Because right now you're blind. Like, everything on the side of you is just gone. And I feel like that's why you need people. Like, never push nobody away. Because I know a woman who pushed her friends away, and she ended up losing her life because she was so caught up, and she was with an abusive man, and he took her away from everything that she knew. And what he did that because he wanted to really, like, have control, and end up taking her life because she wanted to get away. She wanted to go back. And it's like, nope, don't do that. Don't do that. You need your friends. You need your family. Because when you need somebody to run to, you got to have somebody who's going to have an open door. So, you know what I mean? For you to be able to come back to.
Very well said. Alicia, by you being vulnerable and sharing some of those things, it just goes to show that you should not burn your bridges just because this hot guy or this blazing woman come into the picture. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep that, especially if you have positive friends, you got to keep that emotional support system around. I'm coming to my sister, Janae. What are your thoughts on this topic?
All right, so here we go. For someone you barely know, a lot of those people go ahead and see what you're gonna do. So when you can show them that they can start controlling you from the jump, they're gonna take full advantage of it. So if you meet somebody and they say, oh, well, I don't want you to do that. I want you to do this with me. Now, in the beginning of a relationship, be like, oh, they so sweet. They want me to do this. But it keeps going and going and going. You know, about 3 weeks later, and you haven't seen your people, you have to go back and look at this whole situation like, hold on, player. Is he or she love me or, you know, liking me, or are they trying to control me? Because at this point, I believe it's controlling. If you haven't been able to talk to, like, your mom or your dad, or to say parents, or, you know, whatever capacity that means in parents, your sisters or brothers or friends, neighbors, co-workers, like, you can't talk to nobody. Like, don't do that. They are really trying to take advantage of you. And just like Alicia said, they want to control you, and they may be an abuser, and you may end up locked up in the basement. Like, no, and nobody would know because you don't reach out. And if they reach out to you, you don't respond, and they get nothing from you. So don't just give up everybody for somebody new. Yes, you will have that time that you would have to say, okay, I'm gonna hang with my new boo or whatever, and that's cool, but it shouldn't be every day. Like, you should not be like you went in a ditch or a cave and nobody can find you. Oh, they just vanished. No. They don't love you. They don't like you. They're trying to control you and see how much of control they can have over you from what your reactions are when they say to do this or that. So don't lose yourself in someone else. Know who you are. Stand on that. And if there was problems in the past from your childhood, those are the type of people that you usually are drawn to. But be stronger than that and step away from that relationship.
Well, yeah. And it could get really nasty, you know, any type of scenario, whether man or woman. You know, I know some sisters out there that'll be like, you have an ultimatum, your friends and your loved ones, or me. They'll give ultimatums. So either way, from both spectrum, it is not healthy at all, and it's very desperate. I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So This one actually sits very close to home with me. As they were talking, it just put a pit in my stomach. And I've been in situation where in my earlier years of my early 20s, and Alicia knows, she can attest to this, where, and I want to say to people where it's not that someone is like, oh, I'm going to say the hell with my family, whatever, my family. No, it's the person literally has like their own little mechanism inside of them that they have this whole plan that you don't even know about. And it's really hard for someone to, it's basically being aware of what's going on with that individual, because that individual could literally, how can I say, control your life without you realizing that they're controlling your life. So what I want to say is when we move away, because not move away, but when we like distance ourselves from our family, it's not that we want to, it's just that this person has so much control over us and we don't even know it yet. So I just want you guys to be aware of a situation of that before you even get involved with it. Yeah, you get the butterflies. Yeah, you be like, oh my God, he cares about me. Yeah, it feels good. Don't get me wrong. Yes, absolutely. But there is something really deep down wrong inside. And also, if they don't want to meet your family, that's a red light too. That's a signal. Why don't you want to meet my family? I'm so confused. You know, that is a signal that something's wrong with that person. I used to be cooped up in the house. I used to, you know, he would give me a little bit of weed so I could be pushed off to the side, you know, and then next thing you know, that turned into me sleeping all day, me being abused, or me working 3 jobs and him taking my car and, you know, doing whatever it is. You got to be aware of those signs, because if not, it'll drag you deeper and deeper. And it goes up. It goes from just verbally abusing you to physically abusing you to broken bones to crashed cars. Like there's it just becomes a trickle effect. And it is the most scariest thing that somebody can be in. So I'm here to tell you guys, if you guys are in a situation and you guys don't know how to get out, it's just walking through that situation. There's no way around it. Just go straight through it. Go straight through it and say, I can get through this. I will get through this, and literally just go forward, guys, because it is very scary for someone to control your life and take you away from your family. And I want people to understand that don't ever have some type of little bit of hope and space in your heart for that individual that is stuck in that light, because they still need someone to take them out. And I don't want that person to ever feel like they can't run to somebody, because then next thing you know, they could commit suicide because they didn't have nobody. Then next thing you know, you're on the other end like, Dad, but what if I did this? But what if I did that? But you can't say that because you were so mad because they chose that person over their family, but you don't know what people go through mentally. So it's all about creating that mental focus. So that's what I have to say. And I hope that was helpful to you guys.
Oh, that was hope. We actually have a caller. Thank you for calling DBDS Live. State your name and do you have a comment or question?
I actually have a question. This is Mariah. Hey, everybody. I wanted to know if you say you meet someone that has potential and you really like, but they have some of these behaviors, what do you do? How do you deal with it? How do you communicate it to them? And then once you communicate it to them, how much time should you give them to change their behaviors before hitting the road?
Really great question. And thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
We'll answer it.
Hello, caller.
I think she's expecting us to answer it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna come to Alicia. You know, what advice you have for our caller?
You know, I would definitely, you know, like you said, have that conversation, talk with them, you know what I mean? Sit down, pick a Sunday, like, you know what, we're going to talk about this and get everything out there. Be blunt with the person, say your concerns, you know what I mean? And then get their opinion, and then say, okay, how can we make this change? You know what I mean? Because they don't want to make like you're talking the most and they're just listening, hearing you nag. It's like, nope, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. You say your part, and then we make the change. I feel like, a couple weeks, especially if they're showing like this type of like, you know what I mean? We say controlling behavior. I would give it like a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to continue to waste your time in a situation when you know it's going to continue to get worse, and you miss your opportunity to be with somebody who is out there who doesn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, I tell this to some of my clients all the time, like, don't get caught up. You know what I mean? A couple weeks, if they really love you, they're going to make these changes if they really want to be with you and they're hearing you out and they realize that what they're doing is wrong too. You know what I mean? But don't stay in there longer, because then it leads to women becoming, or men even too, abusive relationships, toxic relationships. You know what I mean? And, then you have to get professional help, because now, like Gianni said, you're in this deep depression, you're in this deep, like, you know what I mean, like shell, and you can't see your way out. So I believe given a few weeks, and if they can't make them changes, then you may got to cut your ties with them.
Thank you for the advice of the caller. Thank you. And I'm coming to Janae. What advice you have for our caller?
So, caller, honestly, get out. Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna say that. Let me give you a reason why. I'm gonna give you a personal testimony. Okay. I understand behavior pattern. There are certain things that if you haven't changed at certain parts in your life, you're not going to change. That's who you are. So with that question, that individual is that person. They are who we are talking about. And that's their behavior. I can take my ex-husband. He's engaged. He's about to get married. But I see patterns that he did when we was in our 20s that he's still doing in his 30s. And I told a family member of his, I said, you better tell him to hurry up and marry her, or she's going to leave. Because she's going to see in an older state of mind that I didn't see in a younger state of mind, and they're not going to work. And she's good for my son, okay? She's a good stepmama. However, behavior patterns don't usually change unless you are willing to accept that you have that problem. And if that individual has not accepted that they have a problem, even if you talk to them, they're not going to give you a straight answer. So counseling is first. So if you don't leave, go get counseling. And if you don't leave after counseling, then you may be one of the people that go into this mental depression, because that person's going to control you. So leave now. Or if you really care, y'all go to counseling and get these questions answered with a third party individual that may be more safer for you to realize, if I'm going to stay up, I'm going to go. And now somebody else can vouch that you were there. These are the problems happening, and it's documented. So if you do come up missing, or you have some, mental issues that go on later, you have something documented that can go along with what happened. But behavior patterns don't change if they don't see that there's a problem. That's what I think.
Oh, very well said. Yes. And I'm finally coming to my DBDS sister, Gianni. What advice you have for the caller?
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Janae said. She said if behaviors don't change, well, if you don't realize your behaviors, you're not going to change. And I always say this: people have to change for them. If they want to change, they gotta want to change. Can't nobody change you. So I just want to read this real quick, and it's the 5 hard pills for people to swallow. So one is, it's no one's responsibility to make you happy. A lot of people don't understand that. It is no one's responsibility to make you happy. It is your responsibility to make you happy. All right. 2, no one owes you anything. You are the leader of your life. Okay. No one owes you anything. You control your life. You control your happiness. You control whatever outcome happens. Okay. 3, no one thinks like you. That is a big one. That is a big one for people to swallow. No one thinks like you. So for me, I just want to let her know, just because you think a certain way, that individual might not think that way. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that might not be a mix for you. That might not be, a mesh. The 4th one is falling for someone's potential of who they could be instead of who they actually are. That one's for you. I'm going to say that again. Falling for someone's potential of who they could be instead of who they actually are. Last one. Your goals will stay on paper till you make time for them. So until you make time to basically talk to this individual, it's just going to be a thought in your mind and you're never going to be able to get through it. I would say talk to them. If they can't handle your response and how you feel like you view them because they don't know how to accept it, then that shows you just need to go. Say bye, see you later, because it's just not worth it because they don't see them. They don't see what's going on with them.
Absolutely, man. And I'm just going to add my 2 cents since we're running out of time here. Listen, relationships are reflective, you know what I'm saying? So I really want you to really dive back and realize your mindset as to why, you know, you're even speaking to this particular person. Just get to know every angle about that person. Check their emotional temperature. And as everyone else stated, you cannot change someone, you know, you cannot change someone. But one thing you can do is change your reaction. You have control within yourself. Okay. So we're going to take one last commercial break. And when we come back, that's right, it's our Jerry Springer moment, you know. And actually, before we go into our Jerry Springer moment, we have a couple of comments. I'm going to squeeze my brother Rondell in. Let's see what he got to say for the panel. Okay, he said that was good. Appreciate it, Rondo. And one more comment from our brother.
Very empowering.
Oh, we appreciate the love, brother.
Thank you.
And last one from our DBDS sister, Nicole.
Ejanay, your energy is so dope.
All right, so we're going to take one last commercial break. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How do we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, you know, experience.
And welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my sister Lycia, my sister Gianni, and she's about to pop back in. Check this out. Booyah. My sister Gianni.
I was like, I don't know what happened. I was like, I didn't know. Got up.
I like that intro.
Listen, my people, it's been nothing but golden nuggets. If you missed this episode, don't worry. Our show's on heavy rotation throughout the week on Facebook. But you can also catch this episode on our DBDS live channel, YouTube, and also go to podbean.com and subscribe to our podcast. So with that being said, we are going to have our Jerry Springer moment and share our final thoughts of the show. So first, I'm coming to my sister Lycia. What are your final thoughts for our show today?
The show was great. The show was amazing. You guys are excellent. You know what I mean? You guys did a very, very good job. Just to remind people out there to like get help. Please get help. You know, mental health is serious. You know what I mean? Do not be afraid to get counseling. Do not be afraid to, number one, communicate. Also, know the red flags, know the signs of somebody. Whether being too clingy, talk about it. The calling and texting, talk about it. But after a while, sometimes you gotta let people go, and it's okay to let go. It's okay to move on. It's okay to be able to deal with yourself, to figure out what you really want and what you really want out of the next person that comes along. But I just emphasize, I see this so much in the work that I do when it comes to domestic violence for either men and women. If it's a troubling situation, like get out of it. Don't push your friends away. People can be there to help you when you really, really, truly need it. Because when you are alone and you have nobody, that's when your suicidal thoughts kick in. That's when other stuff kick in and you don't need it. So if you learn anything from this, to get help and to really do what you got to do.
Very well said, my sister. Thank you so much for your wisdom and knowledge. Appreciate it. Coming to my sister, author Ejanay. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You guys have been amazing today. It's been so much fun. And I just want to, my final thoughts is one thing to communicate, but if you don't comprehend what you're saying or what the person is saying to you, that's where a lot of disconnect come from. And I am high with getting therapy, because especially with us in the African American community, we are so not acceptable of, oh, I'm not crazy. No, you're not crazy, but you are not thinking with a functioning mind. Okay. Let's take it that way. So talk, communicate, but comprehend what the person is saying. And if you can't get out of yourself, you have to get therapy, because if you can't comprehend communication without getting angry, ready to fight, you got to drink it away, you already have a mental problem. There's the problem already there. Something has already happened, has already taken place. Somebody may have drugged you, whatever the case may be, you already have a mental issue. And therefore you need to be in therapy, whomever it is. It doesn't have to be a church. And I highly recommend someone you don't know, because if someone is giving you therapy that you don't know, they won't tell you something that they think you should know. Because if I'm telling my sister therapy, this stuff because I already know. But if my sister go to one of you guys and y'all say the same thing I've said, you just confirmed what I've been telling her is true. That's why go to someone you don't know. Go to another city. Go to another state. Things are virtual now. They'll see you in California. If you're in Mexico or Miami, get help. I totally agree with getting help. Learn to communicate, comprehend communication, and if you can't do it, stay away from people that does not bring you peace. And that's my word.
Oh, thank you so much, my sister. Very powerful, very powerful. And lastly, I am coming to my DBDS sister, Gianni. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
So my final thoughts is always love, 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 love. Starts off with you. Love from within. Do not allow the outside world to take over the inside you. A lot of people do not know how to dream anymore. A lot of people do not know how to think anymore. A lot of people are their thoughts are very clouded. So they allow a lot of the negativity that's going on in the world to judge and critique what will go on with what's going on in their life. So I'm here to say, just love yourself, pour into yourself every day, do personal development. And that's picking up a book and just being aware of things that are around you, being aware of self-awareness, all of those things. Educate yourself. I've never been big on books, but I am so big on books. It's helped me develop so much. It's helped me grow. Guys, people are always going to hate. Let them hate. Keep shining. People are always going to have something to say. Keep letting them talk. They're always going to talk. You keep doing what you got to do. Keep moving forward. And that was something for me that was very hard for me to learn and understand. But I'm here to say that I'm a testimonial or a testimony of that. And I'm happy and I'm so grateful. And I keep saying, move forward, guys. Keep moving forward. Mel, I'm giving it to you. Take it away.
Man, that was very powerful, Gianni. I appreciate your vulnerability. And just thank you to this amazing cast of sisters. You guys are extremely knowledgeable, and we appreciate you both for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I was muted.
Absolutely. It's all good. Your energy was so good that I could still feel it.
Oh, you got to say it. Thank you.
I felt it. So my final thoughts is your most valuable resource is your time, and it should not be given away for free. In fact, it should be given to people who appreciate and value everything about you. And when you show desire, it displays that you're a person of integrity, one who's confident and one who's secure within themselves. However, when you're so desperate for a relationship, it displays that you don't have any personal guidelines you follow. And that puts a target on your back from abusers, counterfeit men, counterfeit women, and those who are looking to use you to satisfy their own selfish desires. And the best way to avoid these types of people is to take your time, have a set of non-negotiable codes, and be mindful on how to carry yourself, because the world will judge you based on your actions and not how you think the world should be. All right. So once again, I just want to thank this amazing piano, and to the DBDS family, salute. All right.
Go ahead, Mel. Take it away.
Hi. Fire!